So guys, just a few more wee tips for tomorrow when it comes to eating. My recommendations, now again, we says that you don't really want to eat overall too much during your eating window. Eat what you usually eat. The problem here is when people say eat what you want or eat what you would want during that window, it doesn't mean that you absolutely pig out and gorge. This is mindful eating is the key here. If you want to be really mindful, you got to understand. Right, we talked about calories, and I'm going to do a video tomorrow on calories, how calories work, energy system, what it requires to lose weight, what it requires to put on weight, everything and how the body works. But there are nuances to that, right? So, for example, say two people with the same metabolism, same age, same energy, and one person ate, a calorie deficit of 500, say 1,500 calories, let's put them in a 500 calorie deficit, and one person ate, say all the 2,500 or 1,500 calories all in one meal, and the other person ate 1,500 calories divided into 3 meals of 500, breakfast, lunch and dinner, spaced out. If both people stuck to that religiously, they will lose the same weight if all variables are the same. Right? So it's all about calories in, calories out. The nuance to that is, as we age, as we store more fat, as we go through hormonal changes, i.e. perimenopause and menopause, things like PCOS, men over 40, right? Because men over 40's hormones decline as well too. Men have a thing called andropause. It's not as severe as menopause. Men's hormones slowly start to decline from age of 35 down. So it's a slow decline to the age of about 55, 60, as where women's menopause just goes bang. So it's a lot more noticeable and a lot more impactful, but the overall result is the same, right? People who maybe have about 2 or 3 stone in excess, and again, as we age, our metabolic system shuts down a bit. It's not as efficient at using energy. Now, by energy, I mean carbohydrates. We have a wee thing in our cell called a mitochondria, and a mitochondria is the energy factory for the cell that produces a thing called ATP, which is identity triphosphate. You don't need to know what that is, but just know that every cell in your body, the energy that we use is actually called ATP. We get that from carbohydrates, and we get it from fat, and we get it by a wee mitochondria in the cell producing that energy from your carbohydrates, from your anaerobic system, or your aerobic system through the Krebs cycle through fats. Again, there's no need to understand all that, but just know that's how the mitochondria works. Like I said, when women go through things like menopause, when men go through a decline in hormones, whenever we age, whenever we go in excess of weight, because the cell's been damaged, because there's been so much sugar coming in, because usually you're overweight because you've overconsumed sugar, the mitochondria starts to burn out. So you just don't process the food or the carbohydrates as efficiently as you used to in the past. It's not like a slowdown in metabolism. It's a wee bit different. It's just your body just doesn't utilize carbs as well. So for me personally, having as little carbs as possible through the day is also going to really maximize your weight loss results, because the body will become more efficient at using energy. We want our body to become fat burning machines. So what I recommend is your first meal and your second meal would be carb free, and your third meal, if that's the way you work, or your last meal would have some carbs. So for me, for example, my first meal is eggs and avocado, then I have a protein shake, and then I have dinner. Dinner will be whatever is spaghetti bolognese, but the first meal, eggs and avocado, there's no carbohydrates. Protein shake after that, no carbohydrates. At night, I'm going to have a Greek yogurt with a scoop of protein, some dark chocolate, some berries, no carbohydrates. When I say carbohydrates, guys, I mean bread, potato, pasta, rice. I don't mean fruit and vegetables. I don't account those under this, because the health benefits of the micronutrients and all that kind of stuff, the vitamins and minerals that are on there, for me, they're free. Eat as much of those as you want. But the big stodgy carbohydrates, your body's just not processing. If you want to put it in a term, you are insulin resistant, especially the women in perimenopause and menopause. You are insulin resistant. This is one of the reasons why you store weight so easy when you go through that hormonal transition, is because of the progesterone, or estrogen and progesterone. But progesterone helps to regulate blood sugars and helps you help the cell utilize carbohydrates for energy. That system is on its way out. And again, we'll break down more videos on the reasons why. So when I say mindful eating, I would try and stick as healthy and as natural as possible. Here's my rule of thumb. If you can't kill it or pick it, don't eat it. So anything in your plate should have been picked or killed, right? There's no such thing as a bread tree or a pasta tree. They don't grow on trees. don't eat them. Simple as that. Your body will process everything a lot better. Anything that's refined or processed, you'll find they're going to give you, sorry, big high insulin spikes and all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, as we age, which is you're going to find, if you look around this, it's probably about 99% of everybody on this group. There's 107, 108 people in this group at the minute. And all of us, I'm 48, we're all in that age bracket, which is why we're here, because we're struggling to lose weight. Alright, so you've got to understand the nuances happening with your body. So reducing those carbohydrates or doing something like a ketogenic diet is fantastic. And again, we don't want to overhaul everything, but when it comes from mindful eating doesn't necessarily mean this is a good food and this is a bad food. It means understanding how your body processes food and the portions that you have in your plate because of that. Does that make sense? That's what we need to think about. And that's what we're trying to educate ourselves on over the next 5 days. So when we make choices, we're making proper choices. Not this is a fattening food, this is a good food, this is high fat, this is low fat, because that's all bollocks. It literally is bollocks. It's understanding how your body operates from a hormonal point of view and how energy balance works. Once you understand those things, it's a game changer. Understand as well too that the majority of your plate should be made of protein. Another thing, as we age, our metabolism slows down. But listen, there's a bit of a nuance to this, right? So try and get this. It's a chicken or egg kind of thing. Your body doesn't actually slow down. Your metabolism does not slow down because you age until you hit about the age of 65, 70. Now remember, your metabolism is the rate in which every cell in your body requires and uses energy. Right? Your cells are determined on how much of you there is, meaning muscle mass, not body fat, but muscle mass. Your muscles have cells. Every cell produces energy to make that muscle move. The more cells there are, the faster your metabolism. Let's say there's someone at, say, 10 stone lean muscle and someone at 14 stone lean muscle. The 14 stone lean muscle will have a faster metabolism because there's more of that person. Therefore, there's more cells requiring and using energy. So their metabolism rate would be different. Therefore, the calorie requirements would be different. All right, does that make sense? So we want to spare muscle tissue so our metabolic rate can be faster, because as we age, we have a thing called sarcopenia, which is muscle wastage because the hormones are going away. It's your hormones, your sex hormones, your anabolic hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, that help you build muscle whenever you're younger. When those hormones start to decline, the body's ability to retain, keep and build muscle tissue starts to decline. Therefore, we lose muscle tissue. When we lose muscle tissue, we lose metabolism. Now, yes, we lose muscle tissue as we age, but you don't have to if you do resistance training and eat protein. You can maintain it the whole way. Right, because you can maintain your muscle mass right through your adult life, therefore not having a decline in metabolism, therefore metabolic rate is not age determined. I digress a wee bit. Right, so that's how we want to work it. So your meals tomorrow for the beginners, for your first time doing it, your first meal is going to be at 1 o'clock. We have protein shake, 2 scoops, half an hour before that. All right, because again, we need to make sure our protein requirements are high. Try and prioritize protein in each meal and try and reduce as much carbohydrates as you can. Not totally, you don't have to do it totally. Remember, there's a certain amount of enjoyability here, but you're loading up more carbs than your body can actually process. Unless you're doing resistance training, which means you're using up the carbohydrates, but not as much as we even should. Again, any questions, put them in the group. If you have anything specific you want to ask, guys, anything you think about personal, anything you're not sure about, you want a wee bit more in-depth detail, drop me a message privately. You can even book a phone call if you want this week. I'm here to coach you through this for the whole 5 days. Anything we can do to make this as pleasurable, as enjoyable, as educational, because that's the only way you're going to come back next month. They want to do it again, and that's the only way you're actually going to start getting long-term results, which means you're going to lose weight and keep it off, which is successful weight loss. I will talk to you in the morning.